Yeah. We're going to get him right, baby Paul. We're going to get him right. There he is. There he is. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, man. I truly apologize, brother. I apologize. You know how it is. Well, I got a 6 and an 8-year-old, man, and it's busy, but here. And I apologize, brother.
I already know. You know what? What matters is that you're here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, man, I want to tell you, I am LS, your host, guys and dolls. If you haven't been watching the show, if you haven't been seeing my interviews, you are watching This Is Hip Hop Radio, and I have one of, I'm going to say one of the guys who you wouldn't expect to be as important to the culture as he is. And why would I say you wouldn't expect? Because when you see people and you see them as rappers, you don't think that they are so important other than just rap. But this man is important because he has nothing but great stuff to talk to y'all about. I'm talking about him being, first of all, an attorney. That's number one. That's knocking you out of the box. Number two, he's an ill rapper, an ill lyricist, I should say, not a rapper. I apologize, no disrespect. But at the end of the day, he has done records with some of the most some of your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. We're gonna get into that. And he also, I mean, he has a plethora of things. I mean, he's been a professor before, just a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to get into that. So, you know, once again, I need to see you guys give a round of applause in these comments for my man, Tracey Lee, Esquire.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, thank you for the introduction, sir. That was good. That was
man,
good,
I really appreciate that, man. You know, and once again, thank you for taking this interview with us because one thing's for sure, a lot of people, they talk about, you know, being in the, they talk about giving people their flowers when they're here, right? When they can smell them, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to keep you alive and we're going to give you a cactus. All you got to do is feed it water. Feed it water and it's going to stay and it's going to grow. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Can't nothing touch it. There you go. Can't nothing touch them. Can't touch it with your hands.
That's a fact.
Hey,
that's a fact.
No doubt.
That's a
no
fact.
doubt. We having a little whatchamacallit problem real quick. The Wi-Fi is looking crazy on your end. Yeah.
On your end. On my end or your end?
Definitely. On your end, yeah.
End? Hold on. Let me see.
Hey,
let me see something.
Hey guys and dolls, man. This right here is how we get things done because guess what? It's real and it's raw. It's raw over here, baby. This is hip hop.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get it right. We're gonna get it right. You know, I ain't gonna take too much of your time because I know it's the fights tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But you know, they don't come in the ring until like you know, some about 11, 12 o'clock. So
yeah. You already know. You already know. We almost there. We almost there. It's still a little blurry. Do you got your yeah? Do you have it hooked up to the house Wi-Fi? Oh, yeah. You can just turn it off.
Hold on one second. Let me see. Let me. You know what? Let me.
You want to tap back in?
Is it still glitching?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Let me.
Okay. Cool.
Go out and come back.
Cool in the game. Cool in the game.
Go out and come back.
All right. So listen, guys and dolls, man. He's gonna go out. We're gonna drop him, and then he's gonna come right back in. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna come right back in, and we're gonna play a little bit of his joint right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into that real quick. You know what I'm saying? While we waiting on him to come back. What we doing, T. Lee? What we doing?
You better stop playing with me, man.
You better stop playing.
Cheers. They can't do it like we do it.
Okay. Yeah.
This is how we get down years later. Blue bags day to day with my trader.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, hit that paper plane and bringing people in.
AM straight verses that'll hurt some like Jalen. Trey, spit a Celtics like Jay Tatum. A box office money made from the way most underrated. Phone shots don't entertain them, but they know the power of my voice and raise Canaan. Pull up is like a see the toast, can't blame them. We ain't tripping, we on vacation. Got a laser to the drip, then I'm draping. We keep the black.
Yeah.
How we looking now? How we looking now?
Oh, we looking much better. We looking much better. Yes. So we're gonna get right into it, man. First and foremost, what we do here is we take it all the way back to the beginning. Okay. So what we want to do is we go to the beginning and then we finish off. So in Philly, growing up in Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying? What kind of kid were you coming up? You know what I'm saying? When I say that to say this. Were you a more of a studious type of a child that you wanted to stay in school and just do what you do, or were you the one who was easily distracted because your mind was just so creative?
A little both. So
okay.
I always had the creative mind, but my mom wasn't having it. You know what I'm saying? Not having the creative mind. She wasn't having me not excelling in school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and of course, we talking about a different era. Like, I was born in the 70s. I was born in 1970, to be exact. So, you know, the upbringing, the surroundings, the principles, all of that stuff was different. And so, you know, I'm of Generation X. My mom is a baby boomer. So you got two different dynamics going on. We're the beginnings of the culture that we call hip hop. She's coming from a different era, but she's a bit flexible. But at the same time, she didn't play with the schools. Education, that was the first priority. You know what I'm saying? But she always understood from the beginning that I wasn't the normal, you know, stick to a stringent, you know, graduate from high school, go to college, and go get a job type. I was going to graduate from high school. I was definitely going to college, but I had an entrepreneurial spirit about me. You know what I'm saying? And she always understood that.
Yeah.
Plus, I was an advocate of sports as well. Like, you know, really deep. Like, that's my other passion, too. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of knew that I wasn't going to just take the, you know, go to college and go get a job route. But at the same time, she wasn't playing around with the education. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I could dig it. You know, one thing's for sure, if you was in the sports, you wasn't, if you couldn't mess around and goof off if your grades wasn't right. You couldn't play sports. I don't know what they doing now. Because you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, they giving out 15th place trophies.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Nobody's left behind.
Right.
We're in the same generation. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it was a different thing. But so coming up, what type of music was played in the home? You know what I mean?
Man, anywhere from Stevie Wonder to James Cleveland to, you know, Thelonious Monk to, you know what I'm saying, heavy R&B, heavy gospel, you know, jazz implemented in the mix. But black music. That's what was being played in my house. You know what I'm saying? Before, you know, the thing that we call hip hop came into play. And we talking like from 70 to 79, if you will, at least where we was from. You know what I mean? It was heavy R&B, heavy gospel, with a sprinkle of jazz in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's safe to say you was a soul baby, like much like myself.
All day.
Yeah, if you born in the 70s, people, you understand what the terminology soul baby mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and definitely, because I mean, I grew up with the same type of music in the household. And the reason why I asked you that is because one thing's for sure, and we'll get into that, but it's the music, the way that your music. You know, and I'm talking about from beginning, Tracey Lee, how you just put melody in your rhymes.
Yes.
Even if you was spitting, you put melody in it. And a lot of people who don't come from that don't actually put melody in their rhymes.
Yeah, because they don't understand it. It's hard to grasp. I mean, of course, you can pick it up and you learn it later, you know what I'm saying, if you pay attention. But if it's something that was embedded from the beginning, it's almost like an innate thing, you know what I mean? It just comes with the territory, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. And when you coming up as a youngster, um, what was the first element of hip hop that you was actually introduced to?
It was insane. It was definitely
Oh,
insane.
okay.
Because even though the rhymes were simplistic, if you will, I mean, you know, Rapper's Delight was like, pretty much the record that, introduced us all. If you wasn't from New York City, if you wasn't from the boroughs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They got
yeah,
introduced, before that. But I just fell in love, even though the rhymes were simplistic, I just fell in love with the whole fact that you putting these words together and you bouncing to a beat. You're not singing it. It's not harmonies and things like that, even though that's where the beginnings of the culture come from. It does come from harmonies. It does come from singing that a lot of people tend to either forget or they don't have a knowledge of the culture to understand that that's what it was in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? When you had crews
yeah.
harmonizing, that's what a battle was. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always fell in love with the MC. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Grandmaster Caz, who, essentially penned, what I'm saying, most of that first record that we all heard, you know what I mean? But it was just the
Absolutely.
fact that, like, yo, what are they doing? This is crazy. Like, how you know what I mean? Off of the Good Times bass line, it's like, woo, this is crazy. What is this? So that was what I gravitated towards first. And then not to mention later on down the line when people really start saying it, like, not too far in the near future when we talk about Melly Mel and the message. Now you get into the lyrical aspect of MCing as opposed
Yeah.
to moving the crowd. You know what I mean? So MCing was always my first love. Of course I did a little pop locking and all that, you know what I'm saying? But MCing was always my first love.
That's what's up. And you know what? I mean, I would have probably said MCing, but I was like, nah, maybe not. That's
Yeah.
why I asked that question.
Oh, but
But
it's a fair question because you got the graffiti, you got the breakdancing, you got the, you know what I mean, like, so
hey,
DJing and all that. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
and you know why, and listen, you already know. Graffiti actually, really, the first graffiti artist is out of Philly. Now we could talk about that all day.
Hey man, hey, talk about it. Talk about it. You
That
know
that
what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
I have that debate with a lot of people. See,
Yes.
people don't understand. I can't call myself, and I can't call this company that I have, not let alone a radio show, this is hip hop without knowing the
Right.
basics
Right.
of it.
Right.
And that's where we get away from it.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
today, and I think it's and you got to forgive me, but I say it's all our fault because we have these
It
children,
is.
but what happens is we're playing the music for them, but we're not introducing them to this culture of ours, this thing of ours,
That's right. That's right. You're absolutely right.
and they're doing is they're just taking it and they're flipping it and bouncing it. And don't get me wrong, guys, we love it.
Hold on. I'm seeing some of the comments. Now, you're going to have
Yeah,
to break it down for them because you got a couple people irate. Like my man Lance, I love that. That's my man Mills. Like, that's my brother. That's my brother from another. He said, cut it out. And my
yeah.
man Odie said, before Subway graffiti. You know what I mean? So please break it down for him, sir. As far
Okay, so what we're talking about here is when I say first graffiti artist, I'm talking about a man called Cornbread. Now, what you got to do is you got to understand, yes, we had graffiti in New York City, right? But graffiti started on the subway trains. Now, I'm thinking of maybe 79, 79,
Nah, it's before that.
about 79.
Before
Before
that.
that, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about 69 was Cornbread, though.
Mm,
He was in the 60s.
mm,
And what he was doing, if you look up the articles, this man was tagging first. So that was the beginning of the graffiti art, okay, which we called graffiti. It wasn't even art, it was vandalism. This man, he tagged the elephant, okay?
Wow.
We talking about tagging subway cars, we talking about tagging street signs, yeah. But that's the first document of my man tagging stuff. And when I'm saying 79, I'm talking about the subway cars. Now, I might be a little off,
Yeah,
but
you got to go early 70s.
yeah,
You got to at least,
I might
and
be a little off with
somebody
that.
might correct us on that, but you got to go early 70s with cats
Yeah,
in New York back in the
yeah.
time. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely for sure. Yeah, and I'm thinking 79, but you still had the Red Parrot and all of that. So yeah, it was earlier than the 79. Pardon me, y'all. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna talk. But pardon me. But Cornbread, that was Philadelphia, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Just like the 5 elements of hip hop. People say that the 5 elements of hip hop was graffiti, DJing, MCing, b-boying, and now it's the knowledge. But before the knowledge that Africa Bambaataa changed, it was beatboxing. See, a lot of people don't know that either. You see what I'm saying?
I didn't know that.
So it was beatboxing before it was the knowledge. So knowing the knowledge, you gotta encompass everything within that.
Right.
But I'm gonna digress.
No. This is good. This
Word.
is good, man. This is the conversation starter. This is why we have this dialogue. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
we have to have
on. I
this dialogue
I just wanted you to speak on that because I saw the comments like, wait a minute.
He like, yo, you bugging. Beatboxing is definitely a lost art. Word is bond. But yeah, so it's everything that encompasses hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I might have got my date wrong, y'all. Don't kill me. Don't fry me. You know what I'm saying?
You good.
When I'm in my element, I'm in my element. You know what I'm saying? And y'all might want to follow this channel because on Fire or Trash, we do the 5 elements of hip hop. And what I do is I give you guys a breakdown on what person from different regions added to these elements. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I definitely get, shout out to my man, Akil from Rex and Effect. He told me to go ahead and do that. So you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So we gonna continue on. If it wasn't for him and my wife telling me, yo, you need to incorporate that, it wouldn't even be that. But we gonna move on. So in Philly, when I think of Philly, I think of spitters. You know what I'm saying? I think of spitters. I'm gonna tell you, Jersey, Philly, New York, and Detroit, in my opinion, have the heavy spitters. Those are the 4 ones that I take those 4 states and take that around the world. You know what I'm saying? Because of that.
Yeah.
Now, when I talk about Philly, coming up in Philly, were y'all actually battling, or were y'all doing like what we was doing, ciphers?
Oh no. See, coming up, we talking early 80s, mid 80s. It was not only battling, it was battling on site. Like, so yes. I come up in the era of Steady B, Cool C, Fresh Prince. These are all my, the cats that kind of EST, you know what I'm saying? These are, Schoolie D, like, so
Schoolie
D's the old head, right? Well, all of them really old heads as far as I'm concerned. I think Will got me by like 2 years. I think ES got me by like 2 years or something. But nevertheless, those were the guys that were getting on, right? So
yeah,
it was a lot of, if you saw them at a house party, on site. If you saw them down at the gallery, on site. If you saw them just walking in the street, on site. You know what I'm saying? You want to battle? We battle right here, right now. It was no setup. Yeah, shout out to the Tough Crew. You know what I'm saying? It was no, shout out to the youngsters. Those my young boys. But it was on site when, you coming up during that time. It was no, propaganda. It was no, we're going to set it up for a date. We're going, you know what I mean? It was no, let's go up to the radio. It was no, let's make a record about it. Even though you did make a record about it later. But if you had, there was always a target. There was always the person that was in there. Oh yeah, Crown Rulers. Woo! Yeah, you going?
Pulling them out. He pulling them out.
They from across the bridge. They from Camden. You know what I'm saying? That's the original Grand Poobah, but we claim them. You know what I'm saying? Because they have one of the hottest Philly records of all time. You know what I mean? But it was always on site when it came to that. If you was the top gun, It was like, I remember when Jeff and Fresh Prince came and did a party, and Cash Money and Marvelous, you know what I'm saying, was Marvelous was the MC. They came and did parties at our school. I went to Girard College in North Philly. So every time they would come, I'm always, and a couple of other MCs that went to Gerard, they like, yo, as soon as they come, we got a battle. Now, sometimes they accepted, sometimes they didn't. You know what I'm saying? But I know why they wouldn't, because they got more to lose. You understand me? But I remember I called out Steady B at the college fair. You know what I'm saying? I went down to the Civic Center, the college fair. I saw him like on site. Let's do it. He wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but back then it was always on site.
Now, that's what I love. I love that because, you know, one thing's for sure, when people talk about, even in these documentaries, it's always New York, and understood. New York is the Mecca, but they never really branch out and really ask the people, how did you begin as an MC? You know what I'm saying? Were you battling? Because right, it was on site. You know what I'm saying? I'm from Jersey, so we had to go across the bridge and battle people in Harlem. You know what I mean? And we run into anybody. And it was just like that. And we had a super killer a lyricist with us, and he tried to run down on it was one morning we was doing something at the Victoria 5. Early in the morning, and he saw, and this is crazy because this is a Brooklyn dude, but he saw Aguilar the Don Bishop and tried to run down him. I said, yo, chill. It's too early for that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's going to have us here all day long, and we got stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? But it was just like that. So I love when I hear people doing that. You know, and like you said, with Schoolie D, Fresh Prince, Cool C, Steady B, EST, all of those guys, did they have any type of influence on your style of rap?
I would say yes and no. I would say no in the approach, delivery, stuff like that. I would say no, but yes with regards to making sure that people understood where you were from. You know what I'm saying? They made sure that people knew that they was from Philly. Not only that they was from Philly, they was going to take you to the neighborhood. You understand? The specific block, Parkside 5-2. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So because us in Philly always felt like we were always disrespected. You know what I mean? That's because we were so close in proximity to New York. New York, by right, you know, got all the shine, of course. You know what I'm saying? But Lady B, I'd be remiss if I didn't, you know, mention her name. She made a record back in 79, 80. You know what I'm saying? That was before what's the girls on Sugar Hill? Ring ding dong.
That was Us Girls, wasn't it?
No,
not them.
But anyway, she made a record, like she was one of the first female, matter of fact, probably the first female MC to make a record, you know what I'm saying, a hip hop record, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But we were so close in proximity to New York, but we never got the light that New York got, you know what I'm saying? So we always felt like, you know, we was disrespected, you know what I'm saying? So matter of fact, we made a record called It Ain't New York, cause Philly is stepping in. Yes, Sequence. Thank you. Thank you, Els.
Thank you. Yes. You know what?
Yes.
I'm sorry because forgive my head, not my heart. You know what I'm saying? And I should have known Sequence because myself and one of my peoples, we were talking about that the other day because we were talking about who was the first rappers to come out of Sugar Hill, and me, I always go to Chirac. You know what I'm saying? MC Chirac. So,
but they all around the same time. It's like you probably, you know what I'm saying, a week off or 2 weeks off, but Chirac is being credited as the first female MC, is right, and rightfully so. But I think Lady B made the first record from a female. You see what I'm saying? But all of that was all in 79. All of that. You know what I'm saying? All of that.
See, y'all, hey, he's loaded. So, you know, when I do my next segment with him in a second, he gonna ace these questions. See, what we do here, we do this thing, we do like a hip hop trivia, and basically it's just for education of hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But so, what made you think that you could, you know, you actually could try this and actually be good? Like, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is running around Philly, calling yourself an MC.
Okay, so before I answer that, yes, thank you, Lance. See, that's why that's my brother. He said Lady B to the beach y'all,
To
1979.
the
You know what
beach,
I'm saying?
y'all.
To the
79.
beach y'all. So
Yes.
all of y'all that's tuning in, make sure y'all go look that up. To the beach y'all. To the beat y'all. 1979 Lady B. But
That's
what
right.
made me think that I could be an MC? I think I was a part of a crew called the MC5. You see how old school I am, right?
Yeah.
So it was five MCs. We recorded this joint on a dual cassette on a boombox, and you know what I'm saying. You know, we all had voices and we all spit, but when we played the tape back to our peers, to our people that's in our class, you know what I'm saying. You know, it was always like, yo, Trey, that's kind of crazy. Like, Trey, yo, your voice stands out. Yo, Trey, you saying, you know what I'm saying? So it was early in the game, man. I think I wrote my first rhyme probably around 81, 80, no, about
Mm.
82, 82, 82.
Okay.
So, you know, it was then I kind of knew, you know, from the gate, you know what I'm saying, when I first heard my voice recorded, you know what I mean, like, yo, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So from there I was trying to get deals in high school. Like I was sending, you know, demo tapes to Next Plateau, the Def Jam, to Profile. I was sending them, you know what I'm saying, putting them in an envelope. Of course, the sound quality's ashy, of course. Of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah. Of course.
because we doing it on a
Yeah.
boombox, you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
but I knew early. I knew early, and that was confirmation from the people that I went to school with that, you know, I was nice, you know what I'm saying? So we took it from there.
Nah, that's dope. That's dope, man. Nah, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if Next Plateau would have signed. He'd have been over there with Herbie and
Fact.
all of them. You know what I'm saying? Doing songs with Salt and Pepper and all of them.
And
Who
I was
knows,
huge
right?
fans of them. I was huge fans of them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
LL, Salt and
It-
Pepper, like that was my lane. Rock, I mean,
that
Rock
was the.
was somewhere else, but yeah, that was my lane. You know what I mean?
That's a fact. That's a fact. So now you sending demos. You know what I'm saying? And time is going by. You doing your thing in Philly, and then how did you get with By Storm and
Mhm.
Mark Pitts and them? You know what I'm saying? Let's fast forward to that.
Absolutely. Oh no, it's the perfect segue. So you know, we shopping demos, da 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 da. Didn't work out while I was in high school. So what I said was, you know, once I graduate from high school, if I don't get a deal by then, I'm just going to college, and that's gonna be that. So, you
Hmm.
know, I applied several colleges, but you know, there was one specific college on the radar that as soon as they accepted, you know what I mean, my admission, I was going, and that was the Howard University down in Washington, D.C. You know what I mean? So for all my people that's in here that went to HU, and I want you to respond how we respond. But nevertheless, you know what I'm saying? Um, I get to Howard in the fall of '88, right? And so, you know, my ambitions now, like I told you, sports is not my second love, it's my co-love. So now it's
Yeah.
like, okay, because I played sports in high school, but I think I got a D2 offer or D3 offer, and my ego wouldn't let me accept that. I wanted a D1 offer. So if I ain't get that, I'm gonna just go ahead and go to college
Yeah.
and become a sports broadcaster. So I entered into the School of C, and for a semester it was cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm going along, but then in '89, spring of '89, the spring semester of my freshman year, I run into a cat by the name of Derek D. Angeletti
Ooh.
and my man China Black. And what they're doing,
Mm.
they're spitting bars. Now these one is from Brooklyn. I think they're both from Brooklyn actually.
Yeah.
And they're spitting bars in front of this place we call Blackburn. Now Blackburn is the hangout, like in front of Blackburn, especially in the springtime. You know, everything is lovely. The women are looking pretty. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just like spring is in the air. You know, the outside is the outside, and I see them spitting bars in front of Blackburn, and I'm like, yo, who's that? So I immediately go over there and I put my ear, you know, I put myself in the, I didn't spit, but I'm just like,
Mix.
listen,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And so it was like immediately I caught the bug again. So in other words, it never leaves you. You could try to put it down. That's the moral to the story. You could try to put it, if it's for you, it's for you. You could try to put it down. You could try to ignore it. You could try to put it away. But something's going to catch your ear and the bug is going to hit you right back again. So that's what happened, man. They was in there spitting bars. And I said, you know what? I'm never letting this go ever again. So fast forward, you know, we start a company, me and my man Kaus on top. We start a company, and my man Kwam, who's the DJ. We start a company called Funky Hit Records. We release, a couple of a maxi single. For the people out there that don't know what a maxi single is, it's like, you got a lead single, but you got 2 other records on the flip side. So essentially, you got 3 records. It's a little short of an EP. You know what I'm saying? So we put that out independently. We put it out, it does fine in the record pools and all that other stuff. Then I hook up with my brothers and Lance, my man Mills is in the mix on this. You know what I'm saying? We formulate and form Voltron because they got a crew called One Step Beyond. And me and my crew, we form Voltron and we create Power Move. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so with Power Move, now we're starting from an organizational standpoint, starting to move around with the music across the campus. And not only are we doing music, but we throwing parties, we selling merchandise, and eventually it goes from Power Move to R&F, which is a little bit later. But as we form Voltron, we start to make noise around the campus. So going back to Derek Angeletti has a group called Two Kings in the Cypher. You know what I'm saying? They signed, they put out a record, you know what I'm saying? And then eventually D-Dot and my man Ron Lawrence form a production team called the Mystery System, and then they fall up under Puff, you know what I'm saying, who also went to Howard University, Sean Combs, you know what I'm saying? And then there's a guy by the name of Mark Pitts, who also went to Howard University, who I came up with. So Mark is the understudy of Puff, you know what I'm saying? D-Dot and all of this is coming full circle. D-Dot and Ron go up under the production team that we all know as the Hitmen. And so basically they reach back, you know what I'm saying? At least Dot does. Dot informs Mark, yo, did you know Trey spit? And Mark is like, nah, I ain't know. So then Mark, after he's an understudy of Sean, goes and forms his own thing called By Storm, and then they signed me as the first artist, and the rest is history. I hope I wrapped that up kind of, in a neat package.
Nah, that was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Now when you get in the door with By Storm, and was that, how long did it take from that time for you to land the Universal deal?
Well, By Storm had already signed their deal with Universal. So
they had the deal, and it just, that's why it was By Storm / Universal.
Exactly.
Yeah, when they was doing those deals, I remember those deals. Exactly. Yeah, people was getting those label deals. Yes. Okay, so then now you cooking. Yeah. So now we now it's studio time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you had to move to NY. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Because you had to, you got to be in the mix. Yep. And you got to get in that studio. Yep. So while we in the studio, you doing that. What would you say was the industry that early? Was it all that you thought it would be, or was it like discouraging, I should say?
In the beginning, no. And I want everybody to understand, things happen so fast. I signed my deal in spring of 96. It was April of 96, right? We moved to New York from DC in about June of 96, right? So then from June to about August, September-ish, you know what I'm saying, we were trying to create a song that is going to, create a buzz, that's going to get our name out there, you know what I mean? So we do a song with Faith called Showtime, right? We put Showtime out. Showtime, the record is banging, but Showtime, the record is banging, right? But I think politically, you know what I'm saying, because we're coming out of nowhere, it's like, yo, who's this guy? How's he, like, where is he coming from? Who, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of DJs passed on it. So then we got another joint that is called I Like It Like That, with a D'Angelo sample, the Lady D'Angelo sample, right? Mm-hmm. So really making some noise. Kid Capri loves this record, but we can't get the sample. We can't get the sample clear.
Can't clear the sample, right? Y'all.
But there's a backstory behind that. So then here comes the theme. It's party time. right? So then the theme comes now. All of this is in the time span again between June and like September. So you got June, July, August, 4 months, right? All of this. So then
Yeah.
the theme, we try to circulate the theme because we feel like we got one. At least a couple of us did. And there's another backstory behind that. So nevertheless,
Yeah.
we try to push it. DJ still, yo, who's this guy? We don't know him. Da 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 da. But then Red Alert, who and anybody and everybody that knows when it comes to hip hop and the timeline, and when you talk about big records being broken and being stamped, Red Alert to me is the king. You know what I'm saying? He stamped a lot of all of your favorite
He's the
iconic.
king of it.
You know
Uncle Red.
what I'm saying? So once he stamped it, oh, it was a go. So
It was a go.
October of '97. So we talking the timeline from April to October. What's that, about 6 months? My life changed.
Right.
So it just happened that fast. You understand me? And so once the theme took off, now Universal was trying to play catch up. Now they like, oh, we got to put the album out. You know what I'm saying? It was the gift and the curse. You know what I mean? Because people still don't know who I am. They know that record though. The theme, it just took off. It was gone. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that record was a banger. Like, let me tell you something, right? What's crazy is it got to a point where they was playing that record so much, I was tired of it already. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, they playing this again? Because the girl, when the girls get on it, it's over with. And I remember being in we was performing because we trying to do, what you was doing early. We trying to get our stuff out there too.
Yeah.
So we going to every event and we performing. So I remember y'all was at Esso's, Maria Davis, salute to Maria Davis. And we was performing on that building. You was the headliner. And I remember this like it was yesterday. We in there and they like, yo, Tracey Lee is on it. I said, yo, this is perfect because this song is hot right now. So the spotlight gonna be on us tonight. You heard? Because they waiting for him. So if we getting on before him, you know what I'm saying? It's on. I'll never forget this, man. Like this is how God works in mysterious ways. Cause it almost was a beef. My man's, we came there. We always used to ride deep. So we had older cats with us.
Yeah.
My man, he's around. We all around the same age, but you know what I'm saying. He's a little older.
Right.
So he's performing. Like, no, he's not performing. We just got off stage. We performed, and you was about to get on stage. As a matter of fact, you did get on stage, and he's rocking. Now the crazy thing is, your crew is right. Like if the stage is here, your crew is directly all the way in the back, so you facing them. They against the wall, and my man's is in front of him. Now, you had this guy that used to wear the safari hat with the dreads, and my man was dancing in front of him, like and he was just staring at him. So my man, caught the beam.
Yo, Lance,
so he turned around.
Lance, who he talking about with the safari hat and the dreads? I want to say that.
Yeah, the dreads.
I want to say.
Yeah, he was in the video.
Yeah, Lance, you got to pull that up. Who was that? But go ahead, finish.
Yeah, you got to. So anyway, he's looking at him. He's like, so my man's turned around and was like, I don't know what they were saying, but they talking to each other. Now, my guy, he's thorough, but he's a reasonable guy. Like, if he steps on your toe, he gonna be saying, yo, I apologize.
Right.
But your man's wasn't trying to hear that because they was deep, I guess. So now all of your peoples is looking at them talk, and I'm the only one that sees this shit. So I'm like, oh shit, now I gotta go over there and hold Kinetic down. I said, but we gonna get stomped in the head. We gonna die in this joint because I ain't letting my mans go out like that. Nah, it's all love. It's all love. So I'm like, yo, I'm going over there. I'm young, you know what I'm saying? I'm about 18 years old around that time. So I'm like, because none of our people is standing next to him, and none of them is like watching anybody. That's why I'm like, yo, nowadays when I tell my young guys, when you're going out there, you can't go out there mob deeping. And if you are, if we are mob deeping, guess what? Everybody watch everybody. Don't keep your eye on the booty. You know what I'm saying? So long story short, I'm like, all right, I gotta go stand over there. needless to say, nothing happened.
Okay, good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
But it was, I said, yo, we gonna die in this, because y'all was deep as hell too. But I said, we gonna die up in here, because I'm not letting my mans go out like that. You feel me? That's how I was raised.
But that, I mean, as you should. But that's, you know, that sounds about right. Because when we got on, we was always deep. You know what I'm saying? And I think and the thing was, and I think it turned a lot of people off in the business, is that we were self-sufficient, if you will. We were independent. It was almost like we were similar to the Wu. It's just that the Wu capitalized on a certain type of deal that gave them the flexibility to be independent, where we didn't have it. You see what I'm saying? And so that's topsy-turvy politically in the business. But we were set up the exact same way. The exact same way.
Man, when you rocked that shit that night, man, it was going down. Like, I'm telling you, that song was on fire. You know what I'm saying? And you know what's crazy is that, you know, that it was a moment in time where I remember, and I said, you know, once I do this, I'm definitely gonna have to. I got stories for everybody that come on here. I'm like, yo, I remember, you know what I'm saying? Y'all almost beat up such and such, or y'all almost, yo, we did this, or we was in a cipher. It was always something, right?
Right.
But you did records with a lot of people. I mean, for your album, you know, they like you said, Many Faces, they wanted to just push that out. So you did records with Busta, the Isley Brothers. You did songs with Big. You know what I'm saying? Like you had heavy hitters on your joint. And my one of my favorite joints off that album was Give It Up Baby. But I'm gonna get into that was one of my favorite joints. You know what I'm saying? And the video just was, you know, perfect for the song. But long story short, you know, when you doing records with these guys, because back then you had to be in the studio with them.
Right.
Nowadays we flying tracks and we send stems over and all of that. But being in the studio with these powerhouses, which one would you say was your most? I would say, well, they all could be memorable, but between Busta, Mace, Isley Brothers, and Big, what would you say was the most fun? You had the most fun.
Big, hands down, because Big was, really, it was 8 hours of conversation. It wasn't just, yo, come in here, later verse, yo, how it sound, it's hot, you sure, da-da-da-da-da, you don't think I need to do this to it, da-da-da-da-da, you sure? It wasn't that. Me and Big really had a genuine conversation. It was almost like, it was a sit down. You know what I'm saying? We had plenty of medicinals. We had the hen rock on tap, you know what I'm saying? And it was just chill. Like, so what's going on with you? You know what I'm saying? How you doing so far? Yo, so what's up with you, Big? Yo, this business, man, it ain't what you think. You know what I'm saying? You know, and breaking all of that down. But the meantime, the reason why I was so fascinating, because he's writing the whole time that we talking. You understand me? Without a pen and without a pad. I got a pen and a pad, so I'm taking down my little notes because the beat is blaring, you know what I'm saying, while we, you know, chopping it up. But he's full gauge conversation. The boy's personality is second to none. Like, Big is just, he's a witty dude. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you cry. He'll make, you know what I'm saying? Like, the personality is just there, and you can hear it in the music, but it really magnifies when you're sitting down talking to him. But then, like I said, in the meantime, he'll just dip out of the conversation. And Lance can attest to this because he was in there. You know what I'm saying? He'll do this. You can see him doing this. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is happening? I know, but at the time, I'm like, yo, what the hell is he doing? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? You know, then he'll come back in. He'll crack a joke, dude. Then all of a sudden he'll do this. So then, you know, 6, 7 hours later, he'll be like, yo, I'm ready. I said, ready to do what? I said, I'm ready to get in the booth. Like, what you mean? Where's your pen and the pad? Nah, I can't do that. It confuses me. Never understood that until later. And what he was saying was, like I said, I love telling the story. I've told it a million times, but it's always somebody new. You know what I'm saying? And sitting in on the conversation and don't know. What he's doing is, what he's saying is, for me to transfer from the pen and from the pad to the microphone, you know what I'm saying? I don't get to give you the inflections that I want to give you. I don't get to bounce off of the tone like I want you to because I'm reading it and then going here. Let's get rid of that. Boom. And go straight to the mic with it. Committed to memory from the break. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. And so by far, that session, you know, because, and then, like I said, the jewels that he's giving me about the business, you know, even though I got him by 2 years in age, he got me by five years in industry wisdom, you know what I'm saying?
Wisdom, yeah.
So he's giving me all the jewels, you know what I mean? So that was a blessing. That was a blessing.
Man, that's what's up, man. And a lot of people, that's something that you could hold dear. You could tell your grandkids, you could tell your kids, you know what I'm saying? And you telling us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure you told this story a million times, but it always sounds new every time you tell it.
I'm gonna keep telling it. You dig me?
Yeah, you got to, because that's a moment in time, man. That's a piece. That story is an NFT. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That story is an NFT. And not only that, but what you're doing is you're confirming what everybody speculates, like, he really wasn't doing that. And you're actually explaining to these young kids who think that they can get on the mic and then just punch. I mean, everybody punches, right? But get on the mic, say some stuff, think about something, then punch in. You know, that's not what Big was doing. He was writing it. Now, maybe he might have to punch, but he wasn't punching from a standpoint of writing at that moment. Right. He was writing when he was in the control room,
the whole time,
rolling weed, having a conversation. He was an alien.
Yes.
Big was an alien.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And he's that was that record, that Keep Your Hands High record was the record where he said, me and Lance took Kim and C's advance, invested weed plants like that. Yo, he was going crazy on that. Yeah. Which you was going crazy too. And what's even the illest shit about that is that you kept up with Big, like it wasn't like it was lopsided. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't lopsided. And this is a real shit, because I heard what people said.
Sure.
And it's too bad that you can't jump in the screen and say, nah, it wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And we know about Nori, what he said, right, on 2 occasions. But one of the occasions that your man Jadakiss,
yes,
he jumped in and told him, like, nah, because I remember he was saying something about, we never heard from you again, and I'm like, nah, that's not what it is, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you and that beat alone was ill. So of course y'all both had to go there.
Shout out to Ike Lee III who did the track. Shout out to my man.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Chip Food, just jumped in the room, 95 North.
Chip Food, salute. You know what I'm saying? Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
You know what I mean? But my thing is, look, people are entitled to their opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care. I don't even care about that. Like, that's you know, you have your favorite. You have people that I do the same thing. We're all human. You like who you like who you don't like. But the thing that is disturbing a little bit is that a lot of people just go on the fact that it is certain people, like a Big. Let's just say, because it's Big, it's impossible for you to keep up with Big.
Yeah.
So you don't even listen to the other person, because in your mind, you've already had it fixed. It's impossible because he's Big. And I get it, but it's not impossible. You understand what I'm saying? It's never impossible. You know what I mean?
If you're a lover of lyrics, if you're a lover of music, you know, I mean, see what he did was he painted a picture for the people who aren't of the culture. They just listen to the rap music and they don't know the ins and outs of things. Some of them ain't never even been in a booth with nobody or whatever. So and I understand how that can steer something, you know what I mean? But I never thought that, and anybody who I respect in this game is not going to think the same thing either. They could, you know, but I know he was trying to say it as a joke, and you know, but that joke can turn into something else. I mean, it's just
It
almost
back
like what happened with
right.
Big with
It
E40. You know what I'm saying? With
backfired.
E40.
It
You
backfired.
know what I'm
It
saying? Right. And it backfired. However, I know you addressed it a little bit with the imagery on Smoke, right?
Ooh.
And you know what I'm saying? And I wanna say, was that setup for what he did and what people were like, you know, leeching on or latching on to? Was that kind of like in your mind state? Was it more or less like, oh, this is promo, let me jump on this right
Oh,
now?
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, you're a fool not to. But
yeah,
at the same time, it's like you're killing two birds with one stone. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you get like basically he gave me bulletin board material to,
yeah.
you know, if I wanted to come at him. But I listen, I respect Nori. Nori made some great records. Nori's a fixture in this culture. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool. That's your opinion. I'm gonna let you run with it. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
also attributed to you don't know no better. Like I ain't done with it. Like I ain't one with
Yeah.
the sun with it, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
You know, another rapper with a satchel. No, I'm something different. You dig me?
Woo! Hey, y'all gotta go get that Smoke too, man. Go check that out. Go check the video out. Go to TraceyLee.com. You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all gotta TraceyLeeMusic.com, excuse me. But y'all gotta go see the
Yeah,
video too, man. It's definitely up on that YouTube
no
thing.
doubt.
But the reason why I segue to that, because it was, you know, you was talking about Big, but also, you know, it's important that we have that conversation so people don't think that you are actually, you know, you would go at him. You know better. You know better because you have been in this game. And basically, well, what I'm trying to do is add on to the conversation so he can have you on so
That's
you can
there you
explain that.
go. There you go. See, that's how I know. That's how I know. You know what
Yeah,
it is, man. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Like, you know,
Exactly.
let's have a convo, Nori. You know, man. Matter of fact, let's do a song. How about that? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, how about that? Oh. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening.
No,
You
no,
know
no.
what I'm saying?
That's it. So you know you don't want to burn it out. That's one thing that I pride myself on. I've never burned any bridges in this game. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I know how to maneuver in this game, but I know how to be. You know, I know how to stand on my square too. So it's. I'm gonna tell you how I feel, but I know how to do it in a way that's tactful. I know how to do it in a way that's respectful, and I know how to do it in a way that you know you really got to understand what I'm saying. And if I'm gonna put the ball in your corner, if you want to address me, we can address the whole thing, but if not, then that's fine too. You know what I'm saying?
100. 100. You know, and we all know how this industry is, you know what I'm saying? So was the industry, the spoils of the industry, was that something that made you decide you wanted to go into entertainment law?
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, it's it was the trials and tribulations. It was years of trying to gather, you know, the knowledge, trying to gather the information that I didn't think that I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
But it was essential and necessary for me to proceed in the thing that I love, which is,
yeah,
you know, the culture first and foremost, which is the music. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, I couldn't have grasp or should I say, attain or accomplish what I wanted to accomplish without me, you know, because I went into this thing not blindsided, but you know, with a blind eye, meaning, you know, I just wanted to be the greatest rapper alive, you
mm,
know, but that was out of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? The
yeah,
ignorance was that you didn't know that the business is 95% of what's going on, and the more money that it makes, the more money that it generates, the more of a
yeah,
fixture the business becomes. It has nothing to do with your talent. It has nothing to do with
right,
your skill. You know what I'm saying? And so I needed to understand and know that for myself, not somebody telling me, but know that for myself so that people that are going down this similar path can look at me because I went down this same path, not a lawyer that's telling you this, not a manager that's telling you this, not your parents that's telling you this, not the average, not the consumer that's telling you this, but this is a person that has been there and been in the trenches and work with some of your favorites that's telling you this is the route. This is what you need to understand. This is what you need to educate yourself on. And even in me in this position right now, a lot of upcoming artists still don't want to hear it from me because they feel like they're going to change the system. Nah, you're not going to change the system. You're going to conform to the system, right? And then you're going to bump your head if you decide to conform to the system,
Absolutely.
or you can have a team that say, look, we can strategize. We can say, okay, cool. In order to give a little, in order to get a little, you got to give a little. But go into the whole situation with that understanding. Basically making an informed decision. So what you need to get out of it, you get out of it, and then you venture off and do your own thing. You understand?
Yeah. Yeah. What's even dope about that is that you have a way to help these artists who really need it. A lot of these artists who really need it, old and new. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You have service that they need to deal with. And I noticed that a lot of artists who are in the game show you who are legends in the game, and those who are on their way to becoming legends in the game show you a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? Like I see that and respect. I see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dang. You know what? I should have did this earlier, but it ain't no time like the present.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, and do you see, like, I mean, I know you've had clients like Invisible Productions, you know what I'm saying, and most of the people that fall under that umbrella. But do you have anybody that you see now reaching out that you know that are names that we would, and I don't want you to say it,
sure,
but names that we all know that are like consulting with you and swallowing their pride?
There have been some people that have reached out to me in different capacities that I may have not been able to assist with, but you know, because of the network that I have, it's like I'm always constantly trying to reach out to different types of attorneys because, you know, when you go to law school, man, you meet all types of attorneys. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
From this inception. And so people have issues across the board. It's not just music. It's, you know, it could be your corporate status. It could be, you know, your family situation. It could be a murder charge. It could be whatever. But, you know, I have a network of people that if I can't do it myself, I can pick up the phone and call somebody, and they can call somebody, and so forth and so on. But there have been, you know, some people that, you know, all of us know that have reached out for assistance that I've at least tried to attempt to get the kind of guidance that they're looking for if I can't handle it myself. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And you being, you know what I'm saying, just an attorney, you know, an entertainment lawyer, knowing the business, being in the business, on the other side as being an artist who, you know what I mean, that most of these artists need these types of people going in and advocating for them so that they don't fall victim to in perpetuity, you know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. You know what I mean? So that's another reason why you're valuable to the culture, because you are one of us. You built bricks in this thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I salute you for that. Not only that, but also teaching the business of music, you know, being being a professor and teaching that, like how did that come about?
Oh man, I think that essentially just came about people knowing, you know, my background and understanding that I have a law degree and my desire. Like I put it out there. Like I teach on a collegiate level. You know what I'm saying? Giving these kids the at least the knowledge that I have. If you're pursuing any type of career in this particular field, to give you the kind of knowledge that I have so that you have a leg up on what, you know, let's just say, you know, the person that's just getting the book knowledge, or, you know, you might have went to a or heard a speaker. Nah, I want to be in the trenches with you. I want to be able to be that contact, you know, that forever contact, that even outside of the classroom, that you can say, hey, Mr. Lee, da 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 da, you know what I'm saying? I can give you a practical answer. Again, because I was there from an artist standpoint. So now you're getting not only the artist knowledge, but you're also getting the book knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's how that whole situation came about. It's just me putting myself out there and me, putting the resume out there and understanding and hopefully, these people the people at the colleges and universities can understand that, hey, this guy brings something different and unique to the table that, can, eventually or essentially that can transfer over into the student that is trying to pursue this particular career.
Yeah, definitely. You know what I'm saying?
Shout
And
out to Miss Jones who
shout
just entered the room.
out to Miss
You know what I'm
Jones in
saying?
the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be on her live. She be like, I am's, because I'll be on my other page. Nobody says I am LS. You know what I'm saying? We definitely got to get her on here as well,
That's
because she got a new single that she about to drop, and it's crazy.
Yes.
But long story short, but just to get back on track, I really appreciate you actually doing what you do, because you're offering a service for people. You know what I'm saying? You're offering a service for people, and it's up to us to draw the people, direct the people towards you. You know what I'm saying? Right. And I'm not saying like just to overflow you, serious inquiries only, but we really need somebody that's one of us.
No doubt.
That's in there. When I say one of us, I'm talking about from the artist perspective, who's jumped over the fence and got on the law perspective to actually help us. You are very important to this culture.
Absolutely.
And you must know that. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate that.
And I welcome that with open arms, because that's the reason I think I know that God put me in this position for. You know what I'm saying? To be just
absolutely.
That. You know what I mean? So
absolutely. No doubt. And you want to know another thing, man? Well, I want to get into this joint, man. Party Time 25. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tilly and OGs hit it with that remix.
Hey.
Now, I mean, first of all, has all the press and nostalgia surrounding the first record, right? The theme, you know what I'm saying? Which can be found on TraceyLeeMusic.com, y'all. But has that helped this record a lot?
Has it? Hold on, wait. You got to rephrase that question. What do you mean?
Now, yes. So like the press that you've been doing, right?
Yes.
And just in the promotion with the DJ spinning it, the radio station spinning it, and just because it's kind of like part two of the first record that blasted off, has that helped? Has you know what I'm saying? The nostalgia within the first record.
Without question. Because it not only brings you back, right, for the people that know about the previous record, but it also, for the newer people that are listening, because really, and shout out to OJs, what he attempted to do with the production, he executed it perfectly, because it did bring you back. But then it also, he gave you that 2023 feel. He gave you that, ooh, what is this? This is it. Regardless if you knew the first record, right? He gave it a new sound that is like, yo, this is a hot record for right now. But then when you start to do your research, and when people try to tell you, yo, you don't know where it came from, and then you go back and listen to the original that D. Dot and Ron Lawrence did, it's like, damn, this shit knocks too. But this shit knocks too. But it basically, it sounds like two separate records by itself. But then you put them together and it blends together perfectly. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and I vowed never to touch that record. Like, people have approached me like, yo, I want to remix the theme. Yo, let's do the theme over. Jadakiss and what's my brother's name? They did maybe about 4 years ago. They did kind of like a freestyle over the original. You know what I'm saying? And it was crazy. Right? But I just vowed never to touch that record, because it's the thing. And you don't touch a classic, in my opinion. But when there's the way he flipped it, it's like, I gotta do something.
That was a breath of fresh air.
I got to do something. So it's like a continuation of, this is how we get down now. You know what I'm saying? I told you we got down in 97. This is how we get down in 2023.
How we get down now. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Like the visuals with the video
Yeah.
was just on point. Everything was like, it's up to date. It's an up to date version.
Yeah.
And, you know, we could be, you know, people our age, we could tell our kids, hey, yo, listen, that y'all listening to that, right? That's fire, right? But let me show you where it came from. You know
Nino
what I'm
Man,
saying?
Nino Man. Like I said, I had to remember the brother's name, but it was Jadakiss and Nino Man. Shout out to Nino Man.
Nino Man, okay.
They killed the theme. They killed it. They burned it. They burned it down. But again, I wasn't gonna touch it. But then Joe
Nah,
Giz comes.
hey, oh, just come and he just knocked it out of the box, and that's a fire record. Like, yo, man, I loved it. Let me tell you, you know, you sent it to me because I was on your live one day, and you was just in the car playing that joint, and I'm like, yo, nah, I need that. I need that. I need to blast that off. I'm gonna play that on Fire or Trash. I'm gonna put it in rotation.
Yeah.
We going all the way with that. I'm gonna share it with other DJs, which I did.
Thank
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, oh yeah. Nah, listen, man. When I say I'm gonna do something, I really do it. You know what I mean? This is what I does.
You seem like a brother of integrity, man. So I already can feel the vibe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Yeah. Yes, man. I really appreciate that. You know, but I love it. So we almost out of here. You know what I'm saying? I said I wasn't gonna take too much of your time, but I also want to, you know, just shout out that, you know, you're an author, man, and also your company puts out books.
Yes.
I mean, your wife put out Hip Hop Don't Stop. I mean, you know, you got the manuscript.
She just came in the building, so shout out to Lori Lee. I see she just joined us. You know what I mean?
Salute. She just came. Hey, listen, man. Nobody messes with my segue game. My segue game is on point.
It's crazy.
Yo, man, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. No, but you know, I really like what you're doing. You know, it's like you have a bunch of accolades, and you know, we be here all freaking night. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to go to you know, TraceyLeeMusic.com. Go to the link in his page and just check out everything that he offers. Everything that, you know, so buy some merch, do something, man. Because at the end of the day, if you would go and if I had Jay-Z on here, y'all would go. If I said something, go to Jay-Z, y'all will go and y'all will flood it, man. He'll make $300,000 in one night. So tonight, I need y'all, you know, those of you who are watching, those of you who are listening, and those of you who will watch this later on, the playback, you know, go over there and show some love and support because it's needed. And this man is needed. We need him around. We need him here. We need him to give a, you know what, about hip hop because that's what it is, man.
And shout out to our homie Jen who just stepped in the building. She's always been an supporter of what we the products and the merch that we put out, and she's always been an advocate of what we do. And shout out to Nelson Publishing Books. That's Nelson NELSON Publishing PUBLISHING Books with an S.com, and that's where you can go you can go order Hip Hop Don't Stop. Be on the lookout for the Christmas edition of that book that's coming real soon. We're in production of that. But yeah, man, listen, you just hit it on the head. When you talk about other entrepreneurs and other artists, and rightfully so, because they get the press, they get the push, they're the more, they get the notoriety. And yes, please continue to support them. But hey, there are also other people out here like myself that are pushing out quality product, man. And all we need is the support. You know what I mean? And it's quality product. It ain't, we just decided one day to get up and just start doing this. No, we've been putting time and effort into this for years. Check it out. Try it out, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man. Hey, you might learn something or you might walk away with something.
Absolutely.
You never know. It'll change your life, man. I'm telling you, support is free. We might hit your pockets a little bit, but trust me, we need the funding to continue to give you what you need.
Listen, that money is nothing. I know y'all will go out and buy like 5 bottles of wine tonight that equals up to $100.
Tonight.
I do it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't front on me. I know what it is. Trust me. So once in a while, just, you know.
You already.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop by. So I would say the only thing you don't do is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's what it is.
Everything I don't.
You do it all, man. Nah, man. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. It's like, yo, man, what don't you do? Bullshit.
Bullshit. I don't bullshit. Yeah.
Word.
Yo,
I really appreciate.
I'm gonna have to take that. I'm gonna take that.
Hey, take that, man. Cause look, and no puffy. Take that, but no puff, right? It ain't no disrespect to puff, but you know, we gotta make sure we gotta do what we do. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? But nah, on the real, cause look, I took that from CeeLo Green. You feel me? So hey, listen, I'm always give credit where credit is due.
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm a real one, man. I don't play around.
I can tell. We got to do a part 2 to this because we got some stories. But yes,
we definitely have to. So I'm gonna ask you this last question because this is the premise of all of it, right? It ties everything. But before we do it, do you have time for a 3-question trivia?
Sure, let it fly.
All right, so this last question first before we get into that. Mm-hmm. With all that you've done in this industry, how do you want to be remembered?
I'm going to keep it simple tonight as a stand-up guy. Period. That's it.
100.
That's it.
100. I love it. I love it. Short and sweet.
That's it. Stand-up guy. Like, you can never say, yo, Trey's not a stand-up guy.
No, hey, look.
And consistent.
Consistency always wins, guys and dolls. Remember that, America. Okay. So now we on this, and we're gonna give Mr. Lee his time back. You know what I'm saying? Because the wife just walked in the building, and the fight about to come on too, and they so I got to get up out of here and go get dressed and go out because I'm in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? So you already know the fight is here.
That's crazy.
Yeah, yes sir. So we gonna do it like this, and you already said it, but we're gonna ask you. First of all, the premise of this is not to embarrass the artist, but it is to educate our audience. And he already knows his history, so we're going to start it like this. Name the first female rapper from Philly. Was it A, Bahamadia, B, Lady B, or C, Left Eye?
You already know, man. Lady B, you know, the queen. That's the mother. That's mothership right there. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. He already said it earlier, but that was a trick question, y'all. Okay. All right. Who is considered the godfather of gangster rap? Was it A, Ice Cube, B, Ice-T, C, Schoolie D, or D, Coogee Rap?
We're going to keep it home team all day is Schoolie D. He created the West.
You already know.
Yeah,
say that again. He created
the
what?
West Coast sound.
There you go.
Ask them.
There you go.
Ice-T. That's all I got to say.
I love it. Okay. What record did Big mention or say keep your hands high in? Was it A, I Love the Dough, B, Brooklyn's Finest, C, Can't Stop the Rain, or D, More Money, More Problems and Brooklyn Finest? Now, we're not talking about the song that y'all made, but what, because you got to exclude that. But which one? I Love the Dough, Brooklyn's Finest, Can't Stop the Rain, or More Money, More Problems and Brooklyn's Finest?
More Money, More Problems and Brooklyn's Finest.
You already know. Yo, this man don't miss. He don't miss. He don't miss. Hey, look. I'm gonna tell you like this, y'all. A lot of people don't be getting it like he getting it, man. He getting it off the. He just playing along with me. He playing with me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's letting me go. Oh yeah, all right. This is easy. All right. Now this last one is almost like a I just want one-word answers for this. Okay, I'm gonna just say, what do these names mean to you?
Sure.
Marlon Wayans.
My guy. That's my guy. Period. Went to Howard University with the brother. Still talk to the brother on an occasional basis to this day. You know, he was in Give It Up Baby video. He always comes through in the clutch. That's my guy.
No doubt. Guru.
My brother. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I call him my brother is because, you know, just like with my brother, you know what I'm saying, we have internal differences sometimes, but I don't care what happens. That's always going to be my brother through thick and thin, through ups and downs, through ins and outs. Yeah, that's family. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, cool.
No doubt. Wayne Barrow.
Respect. Because throughout the years, Wayne to me has always had to, like, behind the scenes, he's dealt with a lot more than a lot of people understand and know. You know what I'm saying? He is not the face, but he is the brain and the body of the operation. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. Like, he handles the business. So respect to Wayne Barrow.
No doubt. Last one. God.
Everything. I ain't got to say no more. Everything when it comes to Trey Lee and my family. Everything. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Damn, I'm spiritual, baby. Everything. God is everything.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, yo, I appreciate you. We're going to give you your night back. I thank you very much for showing up, showing out, and really just taking your time.
Apologies for the tardiness again. I really appreciate it.
It's all good. Let me tell you something. We accomplished what we needed to accomplish, and not only that, but, you know, you have a home. You have another home here at This Is Hip Hop Radio. Anytime you want us to debut something for you and make it a big thing, we're going to do it. People, download the app, y'all. This is Hip Hop Radio. Download the app. That's all I want to say.
And be on the lookout for the new album, Off the Grid, coming in June. Co-executive produced by my brother O'Jiz. We got an amazing collaboration of producers, guest appearances. This is going to be something that is long overdue. It's my first summer release ever. You know what I'm saying? So y'all in for a treat, man. And go to TraceyLeeMusic.com for anything Tracey Lee associated, whether it be music, merch, you know, the books, legal advice, all that. Tracey Lee, TraceYlee music.com. Make sure y'all go to that. Make sure you go to the YouTube page, Left, spelled with 2 L's, LLEFT TV. LLEFT TV. You know what I mean? Of course, you already know the IG stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, y'all already know. No question. Well, I appreciate you for coming in, and we're gonna take you out. You can tap out at any time, but we're gonna take you out with the joint, man.
Let's
Party
go.
time 25. Let's get it. Let's ring off. Woo!
What we doing, Tracey? What we doing?
What we doing?
They better stop playing with me, man. Cheers. They can't do it like we do it. Hey, you know we got
Tell a friend that it's him again. Let's go.
This is how we get down years later. Move bags day to day with my trader. After left a lot of bread on the table. Still a crib by the acre from my neighbors. MC's name them. DOA. I'm straight verses that'll hurt some like Jalen. Trey. Spit a Celtics like Jay Tatum. NA box office. Money made from the way-in. Most underrated. First shots don't entertain them, but they know the power of my voice will raise Canaan. Pull up is like you see the post, can't blame them. But we ain't tripping, we on vacation. Relation to the drip that I'm draped in. We keep the black dollar bill circulating. I'm talking 30-year tour celebrating a 30-year career in the making. Just that thing with a switch, something brand new. Like it's ice on my wrist, already got a baddie. It was last on my list, you wanna get no kids, even with that remix. You know we get down, 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 down.
Yeah.